Hey everyone, this is Igor from Velo Orange, and I'm going to show you how to put the Neutrino Mini-Velo into this Odyssey traveler bag. So first things first, let's go over the bike that we're going to be disassembling. This is the Neutrino Mini-Velo Complete. Has a 1x10 drivetrain, 20-inch 406 wheels and tires, and upright handlebars, and it should be really easy to take apart. This is the Odyssey traveler bag, designed for BMX bikes. I really like it because it fits the Neutrino really well. It has these hardy buckles. It's got really nice construction, hardy zippers, hardy fabric. It also has 3 rolling wheels for lugging around the airport or cities. It has some nice plastic liners for general protection and stiffening it up. Inside, we have a top liner, which kind of is nice for separating, clothes or other equipment from the bike. Inside, we have 3 cinch buckles to cinch everything down as you get it packed up, and a really nice compartment for stems, quick releases, other little knickknacks that you might want to put away as you're putting the bike in here. And these are some of the tools that you're going to be using. Regular 3-way. We have a 5mm, 8mm for the crankset, T25 torx for the rotors, and the custom-made rotor CD case to keep them all nice and cozy, and a towel to just kind of add a little bit of bulk into the bag to prevent the fork from rattling, and we'll get into that later. Okay, so let's get the bike flipped over and get started. Okay, the first thing we want to do, put it into the highest gear, so you get the wheel out. Okay, next we're going to take the pedals off. Next, we're going to take the crankset off. Now, the Velo Orange fluted single has self-extracting caps and screws, or bolts, to make removal super easy. And I'll set these guys aside. We get to other things. Okay, let's take the wheels off. I'm going to let a little bit of air out. A little bit of air out for both of them. Okay, so I'm going to take the rotors off using a T25 torx, and what I like to do, I loosened these up before we started filming. I'm cheating a little bit, I guess. And what I like to do is I like to keep the rotor screws in the hub while we're traveling, so that in case, if you were to put in a bag, there's a chance that the bag might tear open and then you lose all the screws and then you're SOL. So I like to put them right back in. Okay, now that our rotor screws are back in the hubs, we're going to put our rotors in our handy-dandy CD case. So this will protect them during transport. Just be careful not to touch the braking surface, or else you'll put oils on it and you'll contaminate your pads and it will all have a bad time. So I've laid the bike down on this towel because chains are very greasy. I don't want to ruin any carpets or anything. So we're going to take the seat post out. And we're going to take the handlebars off. These are all 5mm screws. Okay, take the stem off. Now, put this one back into the steerer, into the starfangle, and that's where it's going to live while we transport the bike. Put the bolts back in the stem. This just makes it a lot easier for transport. Like I said, you don't want to have a whole bunch of little bags that might rip open, you'll lose bits. Okay, so now we're going to take the fork out. Now, if you haven't taken a fork out before, just remember where all of the bits go and in what order. Put everything back on. Spacers. Obviously, the frame cups can stay in the frame. Those aren't going to come out. Here's a handy-dandy little trick. Rubber band. Put the rubber band on. Everything will stay put. You're not going to lose your spacers. Okay, next we're going to remove the brake, the front caliper brake. Now, just removing it from the fork mount, what you can do, you'll see a theme here, that you can take the hardware, you can put it right back in. Less hassle, don't have to worry about it getting lost. And then, when you mount it back up, you don't have to, as long as the wheel is in the same place in the dropouts, you won't have to do any adjustments. Now the fork is free. Now we're going to do the rear brake. Same as the front. Now these are sliders, so you have a little bit more hardware in here. But we're going to do the same thing. We're going to keep all the hardware together so that we don't have to do any sort of adjustments when we get on the other side of our flight. Keeps everything together. Okay, we're going to flip the bike over, and we're going to do the drivetrain. Same thing. Since these are the same sliders, this is slider style, you can take the entire dropout out. And that also allows the entire frame length to be smaller than if you kept the sliders on. Last step to fully disassemble the bike is to remove the saddle from the seat post. caliper. Okay, so now we have a fully disassembled bike, and the next step is to arrange it all in the bag. It's really not as hard as it looks. Now, we're going to get the bike into the bag. If you wanted to keep your bike pristine, put some extra padding in, insulation foam or bubble wrap or something. This particular bike has been to Europe and Asia and has taken a dip in the Hudson River, so I'm not as concerned about it. So let's put the fork in a towel. This one's going to be at the bottom, so I want to just keep this one kind of snug, not moving around. Okay, next step is we're going to put the front brake handlebar and frame inside. Things kind of nestle. Kind of just arrange things as you can so that they fit. Next step, let's get some of these other accessories and components away. That's where this zip pocket is really nice. Put the stem, pedals, and crankset in here. Zip it all up. Okay, next thing, we're going to put the seat post. I'll just stuff his head in there. Maybe even put the fork maybe on top of it a little bit. Saddle. Let's see. Put the saddle over here. That's where that guy will live. Then we have the wheels. Okay. So I like to put the cassette down. Now in this position, the cassette won't touch anything. And this one, there's nothing here. So we can just put that right on top here. Okay. We'll do the other way. This a little bit more compact. Okay. So let's get these cinch straps out. So we get this thing all cinched up. Wheels down. The whole package is going to be nice and secure. One. Two. And three. Oh yeah, I forgot the rotors. Maybe just kind of tuck them in here somewhere. They'll be fine. Okay. Now, put this on top. Like I said, you can kind of Velcro these into place if you can. Put any more clothes or equipment, what have yous on top. Make sure we don't leave anything out. Now we can zip it up. Deflating the tires really helps. Get all those precious inches or centimeters wherever you are. Now we have the big cinch straps. Okay. Set these guys down really well. Okay, and we are good to go. Reassembly is just the opposite, and we're ready to catch a flight. Peace. Don't forget to pack your tools.